you know what book I'm gonna be reading? I'm gonna show you. It's time to heal my 12-year-old self. We're going to read City of Bones. Period. So I'm having candy. I'm sorry if that bothers you. Basically, what I wanted to say was, when I was like, I don't know, how old as was I when this book came out? I was 2 years old when this book came out. But my library here in Portugal, when I was like 12 or something, had only City of Bones. And I was like, oh my god, City of Bones in Portuguese. And I was like, that's a nice title. I want to read that. Give me that. Give me, what is this meant? Give me that. And I was like, I went home and I read it and I discovered that they had more books. And sadly, I also discovered that my library didn't have them. So I spent my tweens and teenage years sad that I could not read the Mortal Instruments. So now that I am an adult, I'm gonna be reading the Mortal Instruments and every single book that Cassandra Clare has in this. I'm going to read them by publishing order. Like, this is not publishing order, but yeah, I was in my head like, should I read like publishing order, like the Mortal Instruments, the Infernal Devices? How should I do it? And I was like, if when I was little I read City of Bones first, I'm going to reread City of Bones and read in this order. So yeah, that's what we're going to do in this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's choose Post-its, because I never know. Like, this has a few, like, I don't know, is this brownish kind of thing? Let's go. I bought new things. Like, I want to show them to you. First, I bought a light. Let me show you. I bought a light to read at night because, I have a Kindle, but I usually like to annotate my physical books. Even though I also annotate on my Kindle, it's okay. So I bought this. You put this in like one page. Then you put this like this. I'll see if this works or not. Okay, queen. Then I bought new Post-its. Like, I already had 9 of these packages, but they were ending. And now I have more 12. I'm gonna choose the color. I think this one here would be nice. I usually like my Post-its to match my books. Okay, this one also would be nice. We also have this one. I may need more than one because I think each color has 20. Like, some of the colors are repeated in the little plasticky things. I think the one I like the most is this one. Sorry, I pointed to this one. So I'm gonna use this one. There we go. What do I remember? Let's go through it. I remember Clary and Jace. I remember her mom. I remember that she didn't know. Like, I also watched the movie and I also watched the TV show. So everything is kind of crumbled in my head. But I watched the movie after watching the show. Crazy, I know. And I watched the movie pretty, like, recently, like 3-4 years ago. Which, So, I prefer the TV show. I prefer the TV show over the movie. But I think the guy who played Jace in the movie was better than Dominic playing Jace. But I love Dominic playing Jace. So I'm like, okay, queen. I love them both. Like, I don't discriminate. If one of them, both of them play chess very well. I remember Raphael, but I don't know if he's in this book. So my memory is kind of dumb, and my memory is not very well for this one. This is a trip down to memory lane because this was the first time I actually had like a connection with Paradise Lost, and that is a thing that has been with me throughout like my whole school years. Because when I was in art school, I had to do a art history kind of analysis on a painting, and it's everything is inspired by Paradise Lost.
This book just made me feel good about my sleep paralysis demon. Because Luke said like, "Oh, Clary, you're an artist. It's okay if you see the world differently and if you see weird things." And I'm like, "Thank you." I'm joking, okay? I hope you know that. So, as you've seen, I finished City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And it's not like I have so much to say, but I have a few things to say. Let's go through my notes. I like to read, and while I read, I like to annotate like random things, I annotate random pages where I laughed. Yeah, I laughed reading this book. But we're gonna get there soon. So, first of all, if you don't live under a rock, you probably know what this book is about. But if you don't, I'm gonna tell you. This book is about a girl named Clary. She lives in, I don't know, I think it's Brooklyn. She lives in Brooklyn. She lives with her mom. And she has a best friend called Simon. She also is an artist, likes to draw. She's 15. Well, one day they go to a club, randomly go to a club when you're 15. It's called the Pandemonium. Yeah, and there she sees something strange, like 3 people, Jace, Halleck, and Isabel, and they're killing a demon. And she's like, what? And they get really weird because they're like, you're not supposed to be seeing this. But she's seeing it. But yeah, that happens, and the next day her mom just disappears out of nowhere. And, well, now she needs to know what the fuck is happening. And basically that's what she does in the book. Basically, she gets to know this world of shadow hunters, and she discovers that her mom was part of it, but she didn't want to be part of it anymore. So she basically left, and she kind of put a spell onto Clary's head, brain, whatever. So she did not remember. But the spell had to be redone, and, well, she didn't redo it. And Clary started seeing the things that were happening. Basically, during the story, she grows a little tension with Jace. My boy Jace. This is Jace. And yeah, they kind of like flirty. I really like Jace is very sarcastic. I love it. And yeah, there's this romantic tension, but then Valentine comes and that's kind of ruined. If you want to find out why, you're gonna be reading this book. You're gonna be reading it. So basically, the story has this really big thing where there's good and evil, and where does that lay? Like, what is good and what is evil, and aren't we like good and evil at the same time? That's what it is. It also talks about love and betrayal. It's so sad. But what captivated me the most this time specifically, because I've read this book in Portuguese back when I was like 12, but now I've read it in English, exactly how Cassandra Clare wrote it. Cassandra Clare wrote it. And first, it's the uniqueness of this world. Like, the story, it might not be that unique, but the world is so, the world building, everything. I loved it. And you guys know I'm a sucker for descriptions. Like, if you describe the little, most insignificant details, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be loving it. And I did. Cassandra Clare does that so well. And I think it's from her that I get this urge of everything being so detailed from the world. It's crazy. Also, the book is super fast paced. Even though it goes like 3 or 4 days, it's super fast paced. It's very engaging. And it's also action driven, which, it's like you're watching an action movie, like they're fighting and they're doing this, and I'm like, keep doing it, do your thing, I'm gonna be here reading about it. I loved it. The dialogue is kind of funny. I laughed, not gonna lie, I giggled a few times. There's also a few cringy moments, but it was 2007, okay? 2007, this was published, so it's okay. I'll let it slide. Also, Clary's inner monologue came up a lot. And I like this thing where you're in third person, but you're also in their faces. You're also in their head specifically. And I really like that. I don't know. It's something that connects you a bit more to the story and to the character. I don't know if it's the nostalgia that I get from rereading these books, or if it's just me remembering watching TV shows in the movie, the TV show and the movie. But I gave this book 5 stars. Like, it could not be different. Since I was like 12, I've been obsessing over this world. Like, I wanted to get a rune tattoo. Like, you know that Shadow Hunter rune that's like that? I'm gonna put a photo somewhere. I wanted to get a tattoo of that. Man, I was obsessed with it. So, it's 5 stars, okay? Don't fall, please. 5 stars. I tabbed it quite a lot. The tabs are not very strong color, but there's a lot of tabs in there. And now that I think about the TV show and the movie, I kind of think the TV show was better at casting the people, because I was like, I don't think the movie did that great of a job. But that's just my opinions. Also, Lily Collins, amazing, but I do prefer the girl that played Clary. I think it's because of the hair. She was wearing a wig for most time, but her hair was so pretty. I was like, you go, girl. I think I was just watching her hair. But well, that's all I have to say about this. Sorry about this. It's amazing. I now want to read all the Mortal Instruments. Because this one I know I have read before, but the other ones I don't think I did. So I want to see the differences between what I remember from the TV show. And yeah, I love them. Forgot to tell you, my favorite character from this book was Chase, because who else would it be? But I also liked, like, that's also from the knowledge I have from the future of the story, but I really like Magnus. It's not because he was the actor who played him in Shadowhunters TV show, also played in Glee. It has nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. Yes, definitely has. But I also really liked Raphael, but we got like one scene with him on it, so I hope that in the future of the books we have more vampires, more fairies, and yeah, I think that's it. Don't forget to leave me a like, leave me a comment, tell me what do you think about this book, if you've read the book, if you want to read the book. I'll be all ears. And yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you probably next week.